everybody, and welcome to our Saturday episode of a Wicked Parley. Today is going to be insane. I am your co-host Rose, and this is your host Justin.
Hello, and welcome everybody. This is going to be a fun, awesome episode. But before we get too much into it, I just kind of want to give you guys all a reminder that tomorrow on Sunday at I believe 7, we're going to be doing another Twitch live stream where we're going to be playing Destiny 2. So that way you guys can watch me fail at playing Destiny and...
Oh, don't worry, I'm going to fail harder. I've never played the game before.
Challenge mode is what it's going to be. It's challenge mode.
Challenge
mode. In any case, that's going to be hopefully pretty fun. And with that being said, please, if you guys have any questions for the show or anything like that, please send them in because we are going to be doing another Q&A.
Q&A!
Yeah, and we're also going to be going over a few other interesting concepts in a couple of weeks, so look forward to more content. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you like the videos, then hit the like. And if you have friends who don't know anything about the channel, let them know about the channel so that we can kind of have a growing following. And if you enjoy the content we produce, then start like a thread on Reddit or something and start telling people. We need a whole bunch of people. We don't got that many, so come on.
Yeah. We also have our question of the day series on Twitter and TikTok.
Yeah, so go check that out. Those I believe are in the description. So if you need a little quick tab, there you go. And with that being said, what exactly is this week's topic? Or
it's not even a singular topic.
It
is a collection because even we don't know what's going to show up.
Oh God.
It's a practically nearly blind episode here, where previous episodes we pretty much knew what we were talking about. Here, it's question Bananza. There is a bunch of sections on a site that we're using, which I can put into the chat box here so people can join along if they would like to. And we're going to spin a wheel, and whatever section comes up, we're going to go to that section, and we're going to answer 4 questions from it, and I get to pick randomly, and I kind of just will read whatever my eye happens to land on.
I'm very much terrified. Like this is.
So am I.
This is going to go very bad.
This is going to go absolutely terrible. Because it's like, we looked at a few of them, but we didn't look at all of them. So we're pretty much going blind here, unless this happens to be a section we already came across.
Yeah, we're going to go with it's probably blind, because there's like over 500 questions.
Absolutely.
All right.
So,
and also, before we really do that stuff, just make sure to note that after we do 4 questions, if you have any comments or have any responses to specific questions, we will take that moment to take a look.
Article is in the chat, so feel free to click on the thing and follow along.
Okay.
Don't pay attention to the grammar. I hurt my head.
Yeah, grammar is not great there. Okay,
right.
Go for it. Start it up.
Bum bum bum.
Oh God.
We have. This thing really likes. Oh gosh.
Did it like?
I think it's just being dumb.
Oh, dumb for dumb philosophical questions. What a odd pairing.
What an odd thing. Odd
Coincidence.
Thing. All right. So, dumb philosophical questions. Bum ba da da. Why do your lips not touch when you say touch, and they do touch when you say separate? Hold on.
Oh, so we got like touch. Okay, not touching at all, and then Damn you, P! Damn you, P! Why? Why are you there and separate? Yeah, I would say that's because English is evil, and also it's probably
English can be very, very evil. Yes.
Contingent on who says what in what language. So.
All right. All right. Second question: if you hire a guy to kill you, is it ruled as suicide or murder?
It's murder.
Hold on.
It's murder.
I mean, it is murder, but like you also hired them to kill you.
Is it a murder-suicide?
No, I think that would like usually when I hear murder suicide, I'm thinking like two people, one of them killed the other and then killed themselves, not one person hired someone to kill them, you know?
So it's
I
a
think
suicidal murder?
No, I think what it is, it's either it's murder on the killer's part, but it's assisted suicide on the person who hired them.
I'm gonna go with
if I had to go.
You know what? I'm gonna say it's assisted suicide. I don't think it's murder at all. Actually, now that I think about it, it's assisted suicide.
It's assisted suicide for sure. The murder is on the killer.
I mean, if you think about it, a nurse who puts you, to sleep or maybe pulls the plug, is in a way killing you, and it is an assist in a sort of way, and you are paying that nurse because you're paying the hospital. So, in a way, it's assisted suicide.
All right. If you get scared half to death, then so does that mean if you are scared half to death and then you have another half to death, does that mean you have a quarter of a life left? Hold on.
That's just too dumb. I'm just gonna go with no. You're stupid
just like,
and bad for
It's scared half to death, and if you're already half to death, I mean you're kind of not surviving here.
Yeah, I don't think you can a quarter live. Like you're not quarter alive, you're alive.
Goodness gracious. Let's see. Does knowledge make a man feel dumb?
Yes.
It really can.
The smarter you are, the dumber you feel.
Yep.
Because the smarter you are, the more aware of what you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Granted, there are some people who are intelligent and still think they know a lot, but then you're truly intelligent when you know you don't know something at least.
Well, I mean, I think there's a level of narcissism that you're speaking about in that particular idea. But,
Fair.
But I would say that someone who's truly smart, and that's the only attribute that we're looking at, is probably going to be more profoundly aware of just how much they don't know, which would make them feel dumb.
Yeah, it's just why don't I know anything about this? Just why? Why?
Indeed, why?
Alright, so that was 4 questions chosen at mere blindness.
Indeed. So, is there anyone in the chat that wants to have a comment, or are we going to move on?
At the moment, it's just we might be moving too fast, actually.
Maybe. Okay.
Hello to people in the chat. We appreciate you showing up.
Are there ninja watchers? Is that what's going on?
There may be ninja watchers. They're so sneaky.
They're so sneaky.
Alright. Next set of 4. Let's go.
Okay.
Oh, I should mark these down for the chapter system later.
Oh dear God.
What?
Okay, alright. Philosophical questions about friendship. Hey.
Alright. Friendship. We know a bit about this.
Yeah.
Bum-ba-dum.
Okay.
Alright. How do you know the true motive of a friend when he or she, just say they, constantly flatter you?
You don't. You just hope for the best.
Yeah, it kind of is, for the most part, hope for the best. It just depends on, how well do you know them? Do you know if they want something out of it? There are some friends that you can tell if they start flattering you, they want a favor.
Oh, I need to borrow some money. By the way, you have great complexion today.
It's not even that. It's sometimes it's that way, and then other times it's you look wonderful. Can I borrow something real quick? Just
I really appreciate the way in which you always respond, and because you always respond, let me just go ahead and throw you with this. Can you watch my dog on Saturday?
Can you watch my puppy, my cat, my child? Can you babysit for me?
I'm having a really hard time, trying to find that thing. Can you maybe just come over to my place and I'm going to leave for a little while, but, if you just go look for it,
It's hey, wonderful, good to meet you. I see you're successful. Can you, house sit for me? So it's just if you know the friend well enough, you can sometimes tell. If they're a new friend, it might be a little harder.
It could be.
It might be a little harder, and even for some friends that you've known for a while, it's they can completely throw a curveball at you. Now that I think about it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. Da-da-da-da-da-da. How long does an average friendship last?
Okay, I guess that kind of depends.
It really does, because that's kind of subjective.
I mean, like, I'll put it this way, all right? So, I think that people go through a few different phases in their life. I think the first phase that anyone goes through is kind of like, like the adolescent phase, all right, which has a couple different things. But I think that you could have childhood friends that pretty much stay your friend until about after high school. And then what ends up happening is that friend group you have, maybe you're a bit selective. Maybe those friends that you had 20 or 30 of now go down to like 5. And maybe there's reasons for why there's only 5 of them now in that situation, or even less in some cases. Maybe there's none. Maybe you go to a different college across the country and you just don't have a connection with them anymore. They just gone. That happens. But I think that the next stage is obviously your college friends. Some people say your college friends are the friends you'll have for the rest of your life. I'm here to tell you that's just not true. That is, I've had many college friends, and I have, well, not that many friends. Now, does that make me an asshole and that people just don't want to talk to me? That could be the case. Or it could be the fact that they moved to far off places, which is also radically true. And we just don't have, we have the same problem as the whole high school and college situation. And then lastly, there's the other kind of friends, the friends that you get when you're older, when you've settled down, maybe you're in a career. And maybe those friends are, let's say mildly young, and then they get married. And their lives being married are more important than seeing their friends. And so you start seeing them less and less and less until they just don't have time for you anymore. I've seen that one too. So it's
that's kind of saddening though. Like,
yeah. And so I would say that there's, it depends on the type of friendship, depends on where you're at in life. And I would say the average friendship depends entirely on the phases that we talk about and when you meet the person. But I would say it's a safe bet to say that 10 years is about the average lifespan of a friendship. Now, if it's past 10 years and you know this person and you still consider friends, then you're probably long-term friends, which is kind of like those people that like, hey, if they need help, you're there to help them. If you need help, they're there to help you. At which point they kind of stop being friends and become more like family. And so
found family.
Yeah, and so it's like I feel like that's the part where it's like I think that's when friendship kind of like it's friendship, but like they're not friends, they're family. They're just not biological family. And so I would say I'd say 20 years is probably the absolute maximum, because typically I think things will happen one way or another. They'll either become friends, like that are closer, so family. They'll either get busy and not have time for you, so you'll go away. Or if they're the opposite gender, there's a chance that maybe you have a relationship. That happens too. Or the other alternative, you die. At which point the friendship ends. No more friendship because you're not around anymore. So,
friends with a dead person, you never know.
Hey, that's a way. But then that goes into the creepy, which is kind of like the creepy.
That goes into creepy, although it's like you can't. I mean, some people will technically go. So it's like, yeah, I was friends with them, because it's like, if they were alive, you'd still keep the friendship. However,
was the afterthought.
Yeah. As sad as it is to say, it's like you can still be attached, just don't let it control your life,
Yeah.
Because now that's making me think of all the the kind of not standard friendships that happen, after death, and I'm like, hold on, it's getting creepier and creepier, and I need to stop.
We're not stop. I don't want to cross any more dangerous lines. That we need to be YouTube friendly.
Yeah. So, okay. Third question for this section: do intellectual friends discuss philosophical questions during their fun time?
Yes.
Yeah, I've definitely done a couple of times.
I don't know. What do you think, Rose? Do we have conversations like that?
We have conversations like that all the time, and not just for the show.
This is true. Yeah, I definitely say that it happens, but only with people who I trust, who I think actually have something meaningful to say.
That and will actually add to the conversation.
Yes.
That and not just spout their opinion and just go, okay, that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
I've had a couple of people like that before, and I'm just like, if you're gonna ask me a question, let me talk.
Indeed. I would say that if you think about what someone has to add, it isn't just being able to recount their perspective. It's being able to technically take the conversation in a direction that you weren't intending, but still leads it in the same topic area.
Granted, it is funny when like discourse happens. It's like, here's all the arguments. They're kind of funny, as long as it doesn't end in a fist fight. I'd lose.
Well, I mean, that depends on who you... I don't know. You're feisty. I don't know about that. I don't know.
I am totally willing to bite a person.
You could take a guy down. I mean, that's for sure.
I am at the right level for shin kicking. Alright. So, like, let's see. Last one. What is the ethical significance behind friendship?
The ethical significance behind friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I would say there isn't one.
Oh yeah?
No, I think friendship is something that is a biological imperative to having a healthy lifestyle. So I don't think that their ethics are necessarily involved in something that is necessary for your perpetual well-being.
Kind of see where that question comes from, though. It's like you can absolutely make a friendship for your like biological imperative, but like once that friendship occurs, you kind of sometimes expect certain things from friendship. Doesn't have to be like big things.
Well, what kind of thing do you expect from a friendship?
To keep me on the right path. If I'm going to do something stupid, tell me it's stupid. And either you tell me it's stupid and you join in to also join in the stupidity, or you stop it. Or you just sit back and watch the chaos happen. I have all three.
I don't think that's right. I want that to be right, but I know it not to be, because I've seen what
you
happens.
Asked me what I would expect from my friendships,
so
and that's what
you expect your friends to literally be like, no, tell
like,
you no,
no.
Tell you
Yes.
no. No, I don't believe that at all.
You just told me no.
No, but I mean, it didn't stop you in anything. Like, I'm just saying, like, I asked you, do you expect that? And you said yes, and I'm like, there's no way that's the case. That can't be.
Ay.
There are many things you have not done, but I was like, that's a bad idea. Did it anyways.
Well, it's not like you told me no.
Wasted breath. I did say no. I 1,000% said no. I'll tell you later. This is not going to happen on there.
No, it's just like, if it was dumb and I still did it anyway, you didn't completely 100% tackle me to the ground and stop me, then it wasn't that harmful. If it was something that would take me to jail, though, I'm pretty sure you would have done something.
Oh yeah, that's different, though.
Yeah, so it's like different levels of expectation. You can handle, like, stupidity, but not stupidity to the point of harming.
Okay. We'll talk about this later.
What about you? Do you expect anything, or is it just like a...
It depends on the friendship.
Depends on the person?
Yeah, like, honestly, like, most of the time, I would say that if I expect anything, it's probably companionship, it's understanding. It's simple stuff. I don't expect anyone... I mean, think about the number of people I talk to, and think about, like, how many of them actually can go, tell me no. I've walked into buildings you're supposed to pay to walk in, and no one stopped me. Like, at all. Like, no one was like, no, excuse me, sir, you're not supposed to be here. I didn't get a single one of those. All right? So most of my friends have a hard time. I think, all right, I don't want to put him on blast here, but I think Aaron is probably one of the few friends that I have that honestly would say no, and I would be like, yeah, okay, man. Like, that's... I don't want to like call out a whole bunch of people, but like, I mean, like I have lots of friends, but there are a few friends.
Only
that,
a handful that will actually tell you no.
Yeah, it's just because like I'd say you, if you told me no, would also be one of them, and that's probably about it. I think everyone else I would take under consideration, but I think at the end of the day, like it would just be like a thing I'd weigh. It wouldn't be something I'd actually directly act on.
Fair. Sometimes you just also want their opinions on stuff too.
Yeah.
It's like, that's another thing, I guess, for the ethical significance. It's like, it's like minor stuff, and then like some people do expect bigger things, but like there's always something to be expected from really any friendship, whether it's small or big, depends on the person.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
I mean, you just told me that you also expected a couple of things.
I mean, do I expect like actual physical acts? Not really. Like,
it doesn't have to be completely physical.
Here's the thing: like, I don't expect people to tell me no. Like, I just was saying that there are two people that if they said no, that I would probably listen, like outright, like just be like, it would be like, okay, I'm just stopping now, and then I'm checking to see why, instead of like the normal, I'm just gonna do it and then I'll just consider the why of it all, probably after the fact more than anything else.
Alright.
But yeah.
Alright. Let's see what we've got in the chat.
Nothing.
We have a hello.
Yeah. Hi, host.
Hello, host.
Thank you for being here again and hearing our silliness. Yeah,
Yes,
and
much
also,
appreciated.
considering how diligent you are when it comes to this, I would definitely, if you would maybe do a link in Reddit somewhere about that. Just go for it, man. Go with my blessing.
You go with your blessing. Let's hope the next section is equally as blessed.
Oh, dear God.
Hopefully not as cursed as the Wheel Challenge.
God, I hate the Wheel Challenge. It's a terrible idea.
We did it anyway. Wait, I think this is a... Nope, it just barely went into the next one.
Philosophical questions about time.
Yeah, if we get a repeat, I'm just gonna,
You're gonna just
not.
go for it?
If it goes for a repeat, I'm just gonna have it spin again.
Okay.
Let's go. Alright. Do you think that time is the greatest philosophical mystery we've ever encountered by mankind?
No. No, I don't think it is, because I think time is a human construct. It's a way for us. I think time is a way for us to understand our place in the universe. It is a way for us to measure where we're at and to see where we've been and where we're going. And I don't really think that it's a fundamental thing that other things in the universe, consider. Because I think that our ideas around time are linked to our mortality.
Yeah, it's a timekeeper for a reason.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you measure things? It's like, oh, how long ago was it? It's a way to just recount like certain experiences in your past too.
Well, here's the thing I would say is this: does a star or a galaxy care what time it is?
No.
Yeah. How does a galaxy know it's 5 o'clock?
You don't.
Yeah, we measure time based on cycles and revolutions of the Earth traveling around.
We have so many different calendars.
Yeah, we have so many calendars, but I'm saying time itself, as we understand it, is based on revolutions around a star, and in our particular night-day cycle. That's how we measure time, for the most part.
That's how we measure it. How you actually like put it into a calendar is another question, since I know of 3 different ones.
Yeah,
minimum.
I mean, and if you were like, let's say you were traversing the stars, right? How would you know it's July 17th? How would you know what year it even is?
Don't they have like special clocks to try and keep up with our time?
In fiction, in fiction, there's a star date. Like that. That's a fictional thing. That's not real.
Yeah, that makes me question this. Is like, for the people who do get sent out into space, do they like get debriefed as to like what time it is when they get back?
I have no idea. I would imagine that they probably have some sort of lag, kind of like if you go to like a different time zone. How like if you go from one time zone to another, you either feel like jet lag, or you feel like you have suddenly more time than you should.
Like they've done that experiment where they put a clock on the Earth. They have like 2 clocks.
Time slower
one clock on the
by milliseconds. It's not even a lot.
Still happened though.
Yes, you were 100% right about that. 100% right. It did happen.
So it's just like, I wonder. Just shuck one on a spaceship and see what happens.
I honestly don't think that we're that sensitive to the passing of decay, and so which is the best natural timekeeper. Like if you count the decay of certain heavy elements, that's a pretty good measurement for time. And so I think even in that circumstance, you're probably looking at a unit of measure that is so unfamiliar to us that we wouldn't really have a perceptual way of really understanding it unless you are intimately connected to that particular study. So a very, very microscopic portion of the planet would be aware of how to do that.
Absolutely smart.
Yes.
All right. Second, do you think time travel is possible?
Yes, 100%. 100% possible. You can definitely travel to the future. If you move at a significant portion of speed near the speed of light, or are near something that is gravitationally powerful like a black hole, and then you eventually return to normal space outside of the gravitational effects of an immensely dense object like a black hole, or if you travel at, like I said, a sufficient speed approaching the speed of light, you will get noticeable effects. There is time dilation that happens, and 100% you will travel to the future. What would be like, I think like we traveled at like, I think it's like 40% the speed of light for 10 years. You'd come back 100 years in the future. What was 10 years for you is like 100 for people on Earth.
Okay. Okay.
So in that way, yes. Now, if you ask me, could you travel to the past? I'm going to say no. I think that you could travel to a different dimension that would be very, very similar to a different universe, perhaps. Maybe that's possible. Maybe. But do I
Hard
believe
maybe.
Yeah, but do I believe that if you traveled hypothetically to what would be perceived as the past, do you re-enter the same universe that you came from, but just at a later period, in an earlier period in time? I think the answer to that is no. I don't think you can, because I think just the nature of the way in which matter operates in the universe, it is difficult to know where something is, when something is, at the same time, and because of that, you wouldn't be able to. You displace so much that it would create a completely separate series of events, and like you being in a different place, moving air in a different way could have a different effect and create kind of like the butterfly effect. And what could happen is going to be different than what happened to you. And you have no way of knowing how that's going to change things. Maybe it doesn't change things in a big way, but over a large enough scale of time, perhaps it might. And so I don't think that it's possible to traverse backwards.
Well, yeah, that makes me think of it on a small scale too. Like, take an ice cube, for instance, or just like some state of water, some volume of water. Speaking of which, hey. So like, you can make it go to the future. Like, if it's an ice cube, you can kind of make it go to the future by melting it like much faster than it would on its normal time. But you can't, like, even if you return it back to ice, it's not going to be the same ice. It's not going to have the same exact formation. And even if you use the same mold to make it, it's still going to be different because of, like, the different water flow, different ice crackles in certain areas.
I think the other thing to consider too is that when you're talking about this, I'm not so sure that necessarily relates perhaps 100% to time.
No, but I'm trying to because time is kind of a large topic to sometimes think about.
Yeah, so what I would say, like what your analogy is that like when you say you take a thing of water, right, and then you freeze it, and then when you freeze it, it's going to lose some of its mass to evaporation. And then when you melt it back down, it's gonna lose part of what it was.
Yeah, so it's like you can't return it to its original state. You can't put it back to its
not
past,
100%.
But you can. Yeah, not 100%. So it's like something's gonna be different, but it's not gonna be the same quote past it was.
Yeah,
you can speed up the process to the future because, like, if you let it melt or freeze naturally, you can do that. If you shove it on top of a stove or some type of flame, I would
say that even no matter how you unfreeze it, it's still going to be different because it's still going to lose some particles to evaporation.
No, that's the whole traveling to the past. I'm saying you can absolutely speed it up to its future.
Oh yeah. With that
so
analogy,
like, as soon as you mentioned the whole losing it, I'm just like that was for the past bit.
Yeah. Well, all right. I see your analogy now. Okay.
Yeah, so you can absolutely like speed things up to go to the future, but you can't put it back.
Or if you can, you're just displacing it in a different way, which
or you're like adding extra stuff to it too.
Yeah, I mean, like I give an example. Like there's the notion of what happens if you travel back in time and killed Hitler, right? What would happen, right? Well, I think that if that was even possible, let's say for a second it was possible that you found some wormhole that allowed you to travel hypothetically to the past. The thing that you enter, the universe you enter, is not the universe you came from, and I think that because you are enacting a series of events that lead to a completely different historical outcome. But there's other problems with it too. But anyways, that's fine. We've spent a lot of time on this. Let's move on to something else.
Yeah, sure. Another topic entirely, or just a different question?
A different question, because I think we've only done, 2 questions on that?
We've only done 2, but there's, a couple of them that I...
Alright, let's do one more at the very least, see what it kind of how long it takes.
How to find the origin of time.
Okay. Well, it depends on the way in which how you define time. Let's assume that you're going to use the current physics model, and you believe in the Big Bang theory as the explanation for the universe. Well, then time started the moment that the Big Bang started to expand. And so that would be your measurement for how it began. And depending upon what you believe, if it comes to physics, whether you believe that the universe will just perpetually expand and all points of space in the universe will eventually escape past some sort of cosmic horizon and it'll just be us in this galaxy with infinitely less and less gas until everything kind of fades to black. Or if there's some sort of crunch and everything will snap back like a big giant rubber band and everything will kind of go back into a one point, and then a second Big Bang will happen, or maybe another one that who knows how many that have happened in that situation. Then that's kind of like a teetering ground. However, if you are a person of religious text ideology, perhaps your notions of how the universe and the way in which time began is different. So I think that it's subjective to your beliefs, but I think that concrete evidence for either is difficult to find.
So much of that is like, hee. It's like so many words, only so much brain space.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's just like I've had my ideas and I'm trying to incorporate yours into mine, and I'm just like, hold on, where did I place that word with that sentence with here? Because it was like, I try to think methodically, but sometimes my methods are a little slower than I can understand.
Oh.
Or too fast for me to actually understand it. You've seen me when I type when I'm talking. I skip words so many times.
Oh, I've seen it. It's at lightning speed, so it makes sense.
Yeah, so it's just like, if I'm not strictly paying 100% attention, I will lose it.
For sure. All right, let's move on to another subject. We spent a lot of time on that one. Unless there's something in the comments where someone wants to talk about. Is there anything? Nope.
Not at the moment. I feel bad for our friend.
Yar.
I feel bad for our friend. Let us know if there's a section you want, if you're looking at the thing.
Yeah, let us know. And if you guys are seeing this in the future, take a look.
Yeah, feel free to just, in the comments or on our Twitter or whatever, feel free to post, or email. Yeah. Feel free to post a question you find in the thing, and if you want us to answer it, we are willing to do that.
Yeah, or if you just want to share your opinion about a question.
I'd love to see it in the comments. Yeah. That'd probably be the best place, the comment section, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll get the quickest notification.
Yep. Alright, time for... If it starts with another 4, I'm gonna lose my mind. I swear to... Okay.
Oh god, here we go.
Best is subjective, so let's see what this article considers to be the best, huh?
Okay.
You were so like, what? Let's see. One of the ones, why do we worry about the things that we cannot control?
Because humans have an unsatiable desire to be able to manipulate the things in their life.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. It's also like, there are, I'd say, less people out there that would not mind the total lack of control. Like, you can let go of control for like a small period of time, depending on what it's for. But That's putting a lot of trust in something.
Let me put it this way. Would you be happy? Would you personally be happy in a scenario where you had absolutely no say in the things that happened in your life? Truly happy, actually content and happy.
Probably not happy, but this is a question about like why do we worry about it?
Well, that's what my whole point would be, that's the reason why we worry, is because we all have this desire to want to be happy and content, and we believe that by having control and are able to manipulate over things, that will allow us to have a greater chance of being happy and feeling fulfilled.
Yeah, but then you get those people that like are absolutely willing to let go, probably because
I've never met anyone who does that.
It doesn't have to be for like big things. Like some people will absolutely have let somebody else have control over what's happening. For me, an example would be like letting somebody decide where to eat. That's just a small thing. It doesn't have to be a big thing. But like some people will have some sort of control issues, and that can pile a lot of stress because a lot of crap can go wrong. Like so much crap can go wrong. So that builds up a lot of stress. So there are some areas where they will sometimes, not everybody, they will sometimes take a portion of time out of their day and either let it go and go with the flow, or have somebody else that they trust would have most of the control. They trust that the other person won't harm them and whatnot, but for the most part, they would let the other person control what the heck's going on in order to relax their brain, to not be so stressful, and to not like have to think so much. They still have to think, and they have like some semblance of control, but it's not like the point of everything, which would stress a lot of people out.
I can see that. I mean, I was thinking. Oh, sorry. I would please finish your thought, please.
It's for what I would have to say. I'd say it's for that letting their control go is especially helpful for those who like to micromanage like a ton. Because if you're controlling every single little thing, it's gonna build up and be hecka stressful, especially if one tiny thing goes wrong.
Yeah. I mean, what I was thinking about that particular thing was that we have, there are people who definitely like to be dominated, for instance, and there are people who are comfortable with that particular thing going on. But I think that when I was answering the question, I was thinking about it from a bigger scale, you know, like a philosophical perspective of wider views than a specific thing. Because I 100% agree that when it comes to at least the simple things like you mentioning of food, like if you have a girlfriend or boyfriend and you either take the lead or one way or another and suggest food, then yeah, that happens all the time. You know, that's something that just rarely happens. But what I was thinking more like was people who are under an authoritative regime, or something like that. You know, someone that's their lack of control. Elicits a different kind of response, and the reason why I was approaching it from like that was mostly because it's like, why do we worry? Well, that would be that's my
lack of happiness, fear of what might happen. Nobody well, for the most part, a good proportion of people don't like being hurt.
No.
And the option of it, like if something's not in your control, and I can see it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, who you are will what you do is going to determine what you worry about. Like, there are a couple of people that are a lot of go with the flow, but they try not to worry, and it's all about like having contingency plans too. If you're good at for a good portion of people, if they're good at adapting and good at coming up with plans on the spot with a bunch of contingency plans, there's a little less worry because at least you have some form of reaction for a bunch of scenarios.
But hold on though. But like, if you're creating contingencies, right? Wouldn't that technically mean that you're concerned?
You are concerned, but once that happens, you're less concerned because you now have a plan. And so it's because of the worry that you would create them, which in turn lessens the amount of worry.
I think that one went over my head, to be honest. I think that one went over my head.
Like if you're panicking about something, if you make a plan, you're less panicked.
But to me, it's like I don't understand how that relates to the question.
About the whole why do we worry?
Mm-hmm.
It's about the whole of fear. You don't know the outcome, so therefore it's just an addition of you would create the plan and you worry less.
Okay, that's kind of in line with what I was saying before.
Hmm?
Well, it's kind of like what's in line with what I was saying before a little bit.
Hmm.
What, isn't that what we were going with?
Mm.
You're like, I don't know.
Again, you were speaking like hecka fast, so it's just like I was still thinking on the previous thing.
Gotcha, okay.
Like I can barely catch up with my own thoughts here, so.
I see.
Alright, that was only the first one, huh?
Yeah.
Goodness.
Did you want to spin the wheel again?
Nah, we're okay.
Okay.
I think we're okay.
Alright.
Second one, are values more important than being right? Oh boy, depends on your values.
Yeah, I'll put it this way, alright? Let's assume for a second in this particular question that the values are a positive, they're morally agreeable, alright? And what I mean by morally agreeable is that they do not have the intention of creating harm, they are there to elicit positive responses and overall achieve better outcomes than random chance. In those particular ways, I think it's better. Because I don't think that if you hurt somebody, but you're right, what do you really gain? Like, let's just say hypothetically, Rose, that like, let's say you come and tell me, hey, Yaska, does this outfit look cute? And let's say in the absolute most truest possible way, right? There's no way it looks cute. It looks terrible, all right? If I tell you that outfit looks terrible directly, all right, there's a chance that it might hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
And it would be bad for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
However, if I tell you like that you look fine, and and at the end of the day, no one has to care. No one's going to say anything to you. Then what's the harm? Is the value better, or is being right? Well, I think I don't care about being right in that situation. I want to make sure that you are protected. And so in that particular way, I think values are better. I mean, I think you can make an argument for both, but I think that more often than not, values are gonna beat being right most of the time.
I can agree with the whole, both of them are important. It's just the whole, for the most part, the values are being right. It depends on the values you were kind of raised with and the culture you were raised with too, because if you're in your own culture, if you're in the place that contains your culture where it's the majority, then more than likely your values are going to match the values of the people around you, and what's quote right is also going to match their version of what's right.
Yeah.
So the values being more important than being right, I can see that where the values are more important for being right, or vice versa, depending on the scenario. But if you're in a culture and you go to a different one where if they're the same, okay, they're the same, but if they're wildly different,
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that, but that question, that's not asking. That's
yeah, I know,
adding
but it's
extra
just
steps.
like, yeah, I know, but it's like it's still a thing you need to think about. So it's like if you're in a completely different culture where the values are vice versa, then you've got exactly the vice versa. You've got your values, like you've got your
It reminds me of the story that I was telling you before we started.
Which one?
The one with the guy and the head of birds.
Oh, that one, yeah. Yeah, because it's just like, then it's like, if you're in one of those where your values and culture does not match, then it's a lot more ambiguous. There's a lot more ambiguity because it's like, your values, you should stick with your culture, you shouldn't really, you can like adapt and stuff, but then it gets into the whole, which one between the two sets of values is, quote, more important, and that's not a topic that really anybody wants to get involved with.
Well, I think that when it comes down to values are about having success, right? Values are being successful and thriving in your environment, right?
Different for each personal person, yeah?
Okay, but like, then we can agree that most values exist to make sure that you're going to be successful in the environment you're in.
In the environment you're in, right? Yeah.
Then there's probably a lot of overlap when it comes to the values across different cultures. Not saying that all values are universally the same, but
there's a lot of overlap, but there's enough difference for it to cause issues.
Yeah, I'm sure there are, but I'm just saying, like, you know, if we're going to look at one culture and not look at it crossing over to other cultures, then I think that the values are going to likely be correct more often than not, because those values are in place to make sure that you're going to have a productive actions in the society that you're participating in.
Even that's a little funky because you've got people whose values are more globally positive rather than locally or personally positive.
I've never seen global values. I've never seen global values.
More cultural ones. It's just like on a larger scale, because it's like you've also got like the people that their moral values will only help themselves. And then like it's one of those depending things again.
Okay.
Because you've got people whose moral values will help out other people, and then you've got people whose moral values will only help themselves. And it's like,
well, let's keep it to the actual question at hand then. Like, instead of adding all these extra things, what would be your answer in regards to the specific rigidity of just this particular question?
Are values more important than being right?
Yeah.
I'd say they're equally.
They're equal?
It sounds like a cop-out, but it's just like, it literally depends on the person, because it's like, depending on how you're raised, you might believe in something that's actually kind of wrong.
Don't doubt it. I mean, if you were
So
raised,
like,
if you're raised in the South, you might have a proclivity to maybe dislike certain people from different walks of life because of people that you were raised around, and so you're absolutely not wrong in that particular way.
So it's like, yeah, it sounds like a cop-out, but it's like, it's literally...
I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
because it
I
just
don't agree with
literally
it,
depends.
I don't have to agree with something to understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So,
it's like, flame me,
okay.
I dare you. Like, you think I care about the flames?
No, there's no flames to be had in this situation. You're not patently wrong. I think you're adding extra steps to a question it's not involved in. So, like, in the confines of the question which you've outlined in your particular way, I think you're correct. You are, in my mind, I disagree with some of the things you're saying in the confines of just the specific question that's put there. But that's only because I'm looking at it from the rigidity of just the actual question and not adding the extra steps. Because let's say even if you were raised to believe something that would be morally reprehensible to another person, if you're not outside of that collective group, then you wouldn't know that that's wrong. And so it wouldn't hurt you to act in those particular ways. So it's all about the context of the situation. But if you're looking at strictly like the values, that's where I'm looking at it from. And if you put it in the same paradigm as what you're saying, then I can understand and agree with it being equal, but only in the scenario by which you added those extra things to it.
Yeah, it's all pretty dang subjective.
It can be.
Let's see. Oh, why is this here? La 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 la. How can we reduce our appetites? I don't wanna.
I do.
You do?
Yeah, I would say I'd say there's nothing that's going to definitively do it. I think everyone's going to be a bit different. The things that work for me is coffee, honestly. Black coffee, I like, is a great way. As long as you don't add sugar or milk or creamer to the coffee, and you drink it, you're going to be less hungry. If you add sugar or milk, though, it will make you more hungry, so it won't really work.
Interesting.
But for me, black coffee does work as an appetite suppressant. I mean, I guess the other answer too is that you could be super in control of your calorie intake, and then just take like small amounts of food constantly throughout the entire day. But that sounds exhausting.
I just deal with it.
Yeah, you really
Builds up builds up the emotions for when I finally get that food, and it's like, yes, I
Okay,
have food.
okay, but like you get so angry sometimes.
Yeah,
Oh my
absolutely hangry.
Yeah, the hangry comes out, and then like the moment you have some food, it just goes entirely away. It's like, oh my god.
The leading up point to the food can be absolutely disastrous.
Yeah. So you want to spin the wheel one more time?
Yeah.
All right.
I think this might be the last one.
Yeah, this is the last wheel spin.
All right.
What do we get?
Swear to God, I better not start with the 4. Do you want to start with the...
Didn't start with a 4. Oh, we got 1. Okay.
That's funny. We have a bunch of 4s and 1 starters. Like, it hasn't landed on any other one.
Do you want to spin another one?
Huh?
Want to spin another one?
Nah, I'm okay.
All right.
If it was a repeat, I would absolutely spin it. However, this is just,
Okay.
All right. Where should we seek the answers to our deepest questions?
Wicked Parley. You should come talk to us. We'll answer your questions.
I was wondering if you would go like shameless plug or not.
No, the actual serious question to the thing is probably answers are most often found within yourself. No one outside is going to tell you what you need to know other than you. You need to educate yourself by understanding yourself. You need to take time to actually think on what you want and why you're seeking answers in the first place. Because often understanding why you want to seek an answer will often lead to the answer you're seeking.
Or at least to the people who have that information.
I don't think people will have the information. I don't think there's ever been a question that has ever been solved by me actually talking to someone else. It's always been internal.
Yeah, but it's just like sometimes you're not, like, you are knowledgeable, but like there are some things that you just do need an expert opinion on to like give you more information to at least help you come up with that stuff.
I think the part of this question that matters is the deepest questions part. It's not questions. It's not like, oh, I need to know how to do math or how to learn this language. You're not learning a skill. Deepest questions are questions that pertain to existence. Things that are existential problems. You know, if you're having an existential crisis, you know, who are you turning to try and solve it? If you turn to anyone other than yourself, you're likely going to be looking forever. That's what I mean by deepest question. Like, if it was just a general question, sure, yeah, there's plenty of people you can turn.
It's like I could see the answer being inside yourself, but if you don't like ask other people, it might take a little longer. You can get their opinions and stuff. I'm not saying that they would have the answers, so I guess the answers would be inside yourself, but like it's also a matter of just seeking it out. Like, if you have an answer, great. If you don't know where to begin, though.
I don't think that's, I mean, oh god, I have to hard disagree with you on this. Like, it's whenever I have found myself in a particularly very troubling situation,
Okay.
There was no one who could help me, really. I had to be willing to rationalize and help myself before I could get the help of other people. So, you know, the answers to most, if not all, problems typically starts from within. And while on your way to seeking those answers, other people can be involved in that process. They aren't the solution. They're not the thing you should be seeking. I mean, because like that's how cults get started. That's how you wind up in a cult. Like, if you're like honest to God, like you're seeking deep answers.
Speaking of God,
you're seeking deep answers, and then you find some guy who's like, yeah, I have all the answers for you. You know, it's like, no.
Granted, some people will absolutely do that because sometimes they don't even like the answers they get.
Yeah, I am not saying that, but I think the where should we seek part, like. Well, that's why I'm saying, where should you seek? And then there's the deepest question. It's like, that part is what I'm examining. And that's why I say yourself is where you should seek, you know, and the reason why is because it's deep questions. Because the answers to deep questions can only be found within. You're not going to be able to go, oh yeah, by the way, Yeah, Tom down the street. Yeah, he has this really great lecture thing you should listen to. It's gonna change your world, man. Like, it's like that's not.
That's what you think this show can do.
Low blow. Low blow.
You mentioned it in the first episode.
No. I aspire to be able to provide information that people can do. But here's the thing. Those people who use that information that way have to already decide within themselves to want to seek information like that in the first place. Therefore, the place that you should look is in yourself first before approaching information exteriorly.
I'm just seeing answers because people are not always happy with the answers they get from themselves.
I'm not happy with many of the answers I find, but I also find it very difficult to disprove the answers that I find within myself.
That's funny. So it's like, if you disprove them, are they actually the answers you want?
Yes, because you don't. In order for an answer to be an answer, it doesn't have to be something you like. You don't have to like all answers for them to be correct.
Yeah, that's like pretty much everybody in gosh darn existence, isn't it?
Pretty much.
So,
So
what?
when it comes to this, though, have you changed your mind on that?
Not really.
No? Okay, all right.
No.
Stubborn you are. Hmm?
Oh, we both are. Don't lie.
Oh, I never said I wasn't stubborn.
You certainly act like you are.
I'm slightly more agreeable than you are. Just slightly. Like it depends on the thing.
Absolutely depends on the thing, because there are things you won't move on either.
Okay, well, that's another thing we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Why are you the way that you are? Is it crazy or is it better?
I don't know. I'm going to go with crazy. I think everyone's a little bit crazy.
Oh yeah, it's the best. Absolutely being insane.
Yeah.
Gotta be just a tad bit insane to survive in this world, because if you're completely sane, you're gonna get broken sooner or later. There's enough craziness in this world to absolutely turn part of you insane.
I agree. Alright, this is the last question of the night.
Huh?
Last question of the night.
Do we want one more?
Yeah, one more.
One more? One more?
And do you want one of the more random ones, or do you want ones from this list?
Let's go random, I guess. Do we want to spin it, or do we just want to scroll and see what happens?
Spin. Spin to win. Spin to win.
Spin to win. I like that arcade game. I'm getting pretty bad at it, though, because I can't get the timing right anymore. Oh, hey, it's a different starter number. It had to be this, though. It had to be this, though.
Last question. Last question.
Last question.
Question of
happens
the
to
gold.
be. Okay. This one?
Ask whatever you want. Ask.
Sure. Is the cosmos itself God? Cosmos itself God?
No. No, I don't think so. Honestly, let's assume for a second that if God exists, God created the earth, created us, right? And we would just be elements of our solar system and of our galaxy, and if all of that is true, then essentially the larger the scaling doesn't change the fact that we and the earth are not God, which means that the cosmos couldn't possibly be God. We're just, if God exists, we're all, and say God created the cosmos, hypothetically, right? If God created us, God created the earth, and he created the cosmos, how could what he created be him? It's kind of like if you make a pot or like a cup, right? Is that cup you? I don't think it is. I think it's something you made.
Sorry, the only excuse I can think of for where that would potentially work is, like, it's a funny example. It's probably a stupid example. But I'm thinking like a chicken making another chicken. Like, a baby.
Okay.
It's like God gave birth to another one. It's probably a stupid example, but that's the only thing I can think of where that would potentially work.
Well, I think that the chicken is not the same chicken. It's a different chicken.
Yeah, but it's just like so it's just like you can definitely.
So you're saying that you're an exact clone of your mom?
Huh?
You're a clone of your mom?
It's probably not on the same thing because it's like a cosmos again.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm just
I'm
saying...
just imagining like twin cosmoses. That would actually look pretty cool in a telescope.
That would look cool, but however, it feels like you're trying to argue with me a lot.
Oh, I love arguing with you, to be honest. That's a fact. That's like straight up fact. But it's just like, let's see. You can absolutely create parts of yourself, though. Maybe not on the physical scale, but...
I would say that, like, you're not wrong. I mean, you could definitely clone your body parts.
Like, what part of Cosmos itself would be the God? Would it be, like, the mental aspect of God? Would it be the physical aspect of God? Or is it the entire thing?
Are you trying to say that God is consciousness?
I mean, I don't believe in any particular religion, but, like, depending on who you ask, depending on what religion they believe in, God might either be, like, an object, a person... mindscape. So it's just like if I asked this to a religious person, what would they consider like God? Is it like a physical thing or is it like a metaphysical thing?
I think it's metaphysical in all likelihood, but I also think that like the idea of like God depends upon the religion, and so I think if you had like say like a Judeo-Christian perspective, they would say that the cosmos is God because we're all children of God, and as children of God, God is part of all of us. But I think that the idea of God being all a part of us is, well, if that's true, then there's things that raise greater conflict, and to me, I think that there's so many things that rule that out as a possibility that I don't think it could possibly be correct.
Hmm. Okay. The chicken analogy.
Right,
I told you it was stupid.
It's okay.
Alright. Well, that was the last question for the day.
Indeed.
This is kind of fun, though.
It was fun. I hope everyone who watched liked it, and I hope the people who watch in the future also like it. I would be happy to do this again if this was something that people like, so let us know. And if you didn't like it, then let us know that too, because free feedback is important.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them next week's episode, or do we want to keep that under wraps for now?
I'm gonna leave that under wraps, considering the fact that we didn't have that many people watching tonight. So, well, who knows? We'll see.
Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you to everybody who joined, and we are again streaming tomorrow.
Yep. Come check us out on Twitch. That's a Wicked Parley. So, come check it out. We'll see you all in the next one. Later, everybody.